Okay, I think we're connected. We're live. Everything is ready. Let me take down the heavy beat music so that we can start. Yeah, thank you for joining me today and welcome to another live streaming session, design streaming session. I'm your host, Verma Henry, and today we are talking about UX design portfolios. It's something that I covered on our podcast a little bit earlier on. I think sometime in over the past month or so. But it's something that I thought it was sort of like a cool topic to rinse and wash and bring back, in the form of this live streaming session. So, I came with a different perspective on the podcast. I was basically, talking about how UX designers should be looking at content creation as an alternative to creating, basic portfolios. But in I guess here we're just gonna, sort of like look at some portfolios on the internet while we are having the discussion around what I think works and what doesn't work, and mainly in this context of South Africa. If you are a UX designer who is based in South Africa and you're trying to start out and you're building your portfolio, or you're trying to upgrade your portfolio, or you're working on a new portfolio and you're wondering, what are some of the things you should be thinking about putting down, and what are some of the things that employers want to see. So I also did a podcast on that around what employers are looking for in UX designers in South Africa. So let's jump right into it. Let's start off with a little bit of, best practices, or what is out there, at least as best practices. So there's 5 steps of creating a UX design portfolio from the Nielsen Norman Group, which is a very good resource for learning UX design and other things like that. If you're interested in learning more, about design processes and all of the stuff, I think this is a great online resource that you can check out, and you can learn more around that other than what we're just covering today. So it has got a way more deeper context and reach of content that they have. So let's see what Nelson is saying here, and I'll also add in my 2 cents around what I think and what I've seen in real life in my own context and in my own opinion. Of course, if you're watching this on YouTube, feel free to ask any questions, or sort of like comment in the live chat section. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to do that. Otherwise, if you're watching this as a replay, please do join our LinkedIn group, which is the Do Better UX LinkedIn group. There you can find a community of like-minded UX designers and other people who are trying to find better ways of making, spicing up their UX career and taking their UX career to the next level. And we engage in this type of, general topics, but, taking a deep dive and really, looking at it with a different lens, a different perspective, and chatting about, all these things that we have on the basic a little bit. So let's go back to Nielsen here. Hiring, what are hiring managers looking for, putting it together. So I'm just going to scribble through this quickly because I actually want to get to the meaty part where we can look at, some cool UX design portfolios, and sort of like go through them and see what works and what doesn't. So take inventory of all your projects. What am I really good at? So professionals looking at All right, so this is a good point. You need to prioritize, projects that align to the work that you're looking for. This is, a very big one that I would like to point out from here. So don't, just throw away a portfolio with all of your work, all 365, um, you know, um, pieces of work that you have. You need to sort of like specifically cherry pick the ones that you think will translate or speak to the person that you're trying to attract with this portfolio. Or if you're asked to put a portfolio together by a certain employer, with a specific prospect of work, maybe it's mobile design work or whatever it is, or working on a product that is within a specific industry, and you've worked on a similar product within that specific industry, that would be a good thing to put together. And of course, I wouldn't even go to 5 projects. I would keep it 3 to 5. If you're presenting this in person, I would actually even keep it in to one, because if you're presenting it in person, you don't have that much time for you to actually go through all of that amount of detail, so you could really go through one project in immense detail. That way, you'll be able to cover all the thinking, all the direction that you took within that specific project. Let's scroll down a little bit more. Let's see what else. So problems you have to solve, the hypothesis. So most of these things, I think they're going to come up when we are looking at the portfolios. This is sort of like the structure of the portfolio itself. So, what was the problem that you had to solve for? What was the specific role in the project that you actually played, and how did you come up to your proposed solutions? So how did you end up falling into that specific solution that you came up with? Did you ideate, did you brainstorm, did you do user research? People who are looking at UX design portfolios really want to see how you think, what is your thinking, what are your problem solving skills. So that's why you see most of this stuff is directed directly to problems and solutions. So here, how do you propose to solve them? So this speaks to execution, um, and challenges you faced. So this just speaks to what are the things that you faced and how did you solve them. Again, speaking to problem solving, how do you solve these things as they arise and as you come across them. How the project affected the users. So this is actually the output. So what was the impact? Did you drive more revenue out of this? What was the outcome of the work that you did? So did your idea work or not? Were you was your proposed solution successful or not? And I'm just looking back over here just to check if I have any comments, just to monitor that. And I'm switching over, so I'm doing a little bit of context switching if you hear me breaking up a little bit. So the next thing is, what did you learn? So what did you actually learn out of this? So this could be the style of work that the style of approach that you took on the project. You might have wanted to tweak it in certain ways, and how does that improve your final total output that you can give as a UX designer for that specific job that you're applying for. Remember, UX portfolios, they're like a glorified CV or resume for designers, for UX designers. So you really want to be able to show your work and explain in detail how did you come out to the last thing. I see a lot of UX designers just spilling out work, throwing those dribble shots at you, and not really explaining what are you looking at? What is the interface all about? How did they come to that? How does it help the user? Did they factor in any accessibility um, measures around, how people are going to use this thing? So all those things come into play when a person is looking at a UX design portfolio, because that is what employers want to know. So enough with the theory and sort of like the blubbering about and this teaching style format. I'll save that for our you know, web class sessions that we are doing at Do Better UX. So if you are interested in this type of content and you'd like to learn more, we do live streaming sessions where you can actually collaborate as a class. We do them on Discord, and we'll be doing the first one in the next coming week. I think around the 13th or the 14th, somewhere there. We're gonna confirm the date once we fill up a class. We're supposed to do it this Friday, live stream it here on the live streaming sessions. But we considered that we want to get a little bit more people for the class and fill up the class so that we have better participation and collaboration. So let's Google and see if we can check out some UX design portfolios. I don't know what to look up. Maybe let's look for best UX design portfolio and see what comes up. So Career Foundry, I don't know who Career Foundry is. TopTal. TopTal is cool because if you're looking for a freelance designer, you're probably looking at TopTal or other places like that. Webflow is a cool tool to build websites in general. So let's see some of the stuff, probably templates and stuff that they have there. Let's check UX Design CC as well. That is the link that I had open there. So let's see if there's anything meaty here. The purpose of a UX design portfolio. All right, so Gloria Lonell's The High Impact Introduction. All right, okay, cool. So who's Gloria? Self-taught product. We want to see the thing. We want to product designer. Oh, come on. I hate it when websites do this and don't just take you to the actual person, take away. Okay, here's the link. All right. It's sort of like try and confuse you with all these different links, that open other sort of like content on their website and try and get their clicks up and retention on the website and click-through rates. But anyway, let me stop biting on that. So Gloria, so you see here again, Gloria has got like very little context of who she is. Okay, end-to-end UX UI for software products, passionate about improving lives of others through design and looking. So if I was hiring Gloria, so far I'm not sure what her actual problem solving skills are, but let's jump into I already like the fact that she only has got 1, 2, 3 pieces of work on a portfolio, and that is all you need, and that is her recent work. It's not all her work. Probably it might be all her work, we don't know, but she says recent work, so let's go with that. But let's see the detail in the portfolio and see what she has. I'm looking at the time again. I do this almost on every stream. I totally lose track of time. I think I should make this sessions an hour instead of 30 minutes because I totally lose track of time, and yeah, I always have to like squeeze things right at the end. So it's about 21 minutes after 7 right now, and we have about 10 more minutes, so I'll drag it about maybe another 10 minutes so that we have about 20 minutes to be able to rock this show a little bit more. and maybe we can look at two more examples, maybe three more examples of some cool UX portfolios. So what is the overview of the project? So, beginner redesign. The goal of this particular project was to identify, right, what is the role. So she sort of like took some of the, basics, what was, but she didn't really frame what the problem was. She sort of like framed it as the goal of the project, which is slightly different from what the problem is actually. So let's go back to Gloria's thing. Ongoing 2 years. That's a bad sign. It's not a complete project. And why has it been going for so long? I understand we've got iterations, but there was somewhere where they had a cut line. So here's some background around the company. Half the design team. Okay, cool. That means there's, two designers and a lot of engineers, a lot of managers. And yeah, that is a very suffocating environment to be as a UX designer. Um, I don't know if showing it on your portfolio adds any weight. I've grown tremendously, so at least she's, sort of like showing process of being half of the design team. She put in a nice process here. I like the double diamond. So this already sort of like starts showing that she knows quite a bit about some UX design processes. She knows, about diverging and converging. And if you follow me anywhere on the talking about this double diamond scenario in design sprints and other type of scenarios like that, where you're running workshops where you want to diverge and come up with a lot of ideas and then converge to narrow them down, and so that you can move onto the next step. So as you can see here, they diverged in the discover phase, when they wanted to sort of like do the problem statement, and they sort of like narrowed down to defining what are the user stories that they finally prioritized, and then went on into the ideation phase, again diverging, so that they can bring as many ideas as possible into one place, and then implementing again. They narrowed it down, because when you're going to implement an idea, you usually want to narrow it down to some sort of an MVP, that you can create in a specific amount of time. So that is pretty cool. I really like that about her portfolio. Understanding the problem. So here's a little bit more about what the problem was. So I would have put this right on the top, and like, I'm not sure if I want to know the context of the project so much more than I want to know what the problem and how they solved the problem. If I was hiring a UX designer or anybody within this context, I would want to know what problem did they have, and how did they solve it, the outcomes of the solution that they had. Those three main things. This is cool to put in, to sort of like put in the detail, but I wouldn't go into so much detail into gathering insights and putting all these things together. I would put in, probably some snapshots of how this process looks like in a very simple illustration, gathering insights, show some pictures of the workshop, and go into prototyping, visual wireframing, I guess, and the actual final designs, and I would, add the takeaway and the results right at the end. I would, keep it the same way as she did here. Again, I don't know. Let's let's move away from Gloria, but I think that is a very good portfolio, well illustrated, well done. And I think, it's cool that she added other things that she does here, like, play, music and art, and a blog. I think, it always adds a little bit of flavor to your portfolio. But a lot of people who are hiring, unless when they get to the vetting process that they're really interested in hiring you, then they will look at this type of stuff. Other than that, it's really minimal. People hardly ever look at other the stuff that you're doing, unless if it's contributing to the role that you currently have. So moving on swiftly, let's hunt for our next one. Let's not pick the first one this time. Let's let this slow internet lazy load. Okay, I don't like some of the stuff that I see here. Uh, okay. I'm not sure about, like, when people, did this guy actually design the Spotify website? Spotify social feature. Okay, cool. So maybe let me not jump into that because I'm interested in seeing that part, but we're gonna jump into that. So going back again, just on an overview. Hi, based in Washington DC. I use Human Sense. So again, I think introductions are very underutilized in most portfolios. I mean, people want to know what your vibe is. Currently focusing my efforts on the Explorer community at National. Okay, right, cool. I guess that illustrates well. I think it's better than the previous one that we're looking at. Um, but yeah, actually kind of like that. A little bit more context, a little bit more information. Um, but anyway, let's you see again, 4 projects, nice, short and sweet. You don't need to overdo it. You don't need to add all 15, 20, 300 of them. Nice, short and sweet. Obviously, I want to jump into the Spotify one. That's why I, navigated to this website in the first place. Um, while that is loading, wow, I don't understand why my internet is so slow today. Or only when I'm doing these live streaming sessions, but most of the time it's actually, decently fast. For my area at least. Um, all right, cool. So, um, I'm hoping most of the page is still loading. But let's see how this looks like. Looks good so far. Again, I'm not so sure about the detail. When people are hiring and they want to see, very lightweight, they want to see your thinking, they want to see what methodologies you used. So I don't know what is the fine line of amount of detail. So if you're watching this and you're an expert in making UX design portfolios, and you would like to help us out, please do let us know what is the right amount of detail within the project piece. How much detail should we put in? Should we put in everything, absolutely everything that we did? Like put in, all the personas and who they are and what they use, and all right, this is cool. This is what I was explaining in the previous example, that it'll be cool to just add images around what you were doing. So I gathered four friends together, three of whom Spotify users, and sort of like illustrate, very quickly. And I like the fact that, like here's the full list here to go to the next thing. I hate the fact that it's opening in the same page though. So let me just kill that. All right, so my internet totally is failing me right now. So maybe I'll just keep on talking a little bit more about portfolios and some of the things that I think um, people are looking for in there. So again, I've spoken to people looking for the amount of detail, the amount of thinking. This Nielsen example is really close to how you should be presenting it. Because we want to see what problems you were presented with and how you solved them. What is your thought process? What toolkit of um, design thinking tools do you have in your bag? What can you bring to the table when it comes to actually solving problems? I think that is what UX, so-called UX UI designers who are being hired, that is what people who are hiring them actually are looking for. And it's something that is a little bit more than what a lot of UX designers go in, with, especially if they are starting out. If you are trying to, tweak your UX design portfolio and take it to the next level, some of the things that I would, really, really consider that you add in there, the explaining more of the process that you actually took. So I understand, people want to add images and how, the thing actually laid out. But I would tell a story, like I think there's benefit in sharing a story, in the storytelling. There's some magic in how you present the work that you have in front of you. So okay, so this guy's website totally bummed out on me. Um, but it looked cool. Um, let's check this one out. Uh, all right, cool. Let's look for another example here. I think one more example, and yeah, I think we would have covered, most of the things around, design portfolios. And again, if you have any questions around design portfolios. I know we didn't get into detail in this streaming session, and that is not the point of these design streaming sessions. These design streaming sessions, they are, designed for us to just chill and geek out and speak about a specific topic, cover it for, 30 minutes, 40 minutes most of the time, and just tear down, the specific thing that we are looking at. So yeah, let's proceed here. What am I looking at here? So product designer based in London, That is cool, short and sweet. Read more. Ooh, okay, cool. Specializing in user interface design. Okay. On the web, I currently work at Google Health. Bring you previously worked with IDEO. Okay, cool. It's throwing in the names in there. Throwing in the names, bro. Um, helped Thread reinvent personal styling in the UK. Prior to that, I was formerly in London. All right, cool. Sweet. So currency is simple, and then he just jumps into the work, right? He doesn't, sort of like have any other stuff. So let's see how many projects he has. So he's got currency, and he just lays it out like that. Thread. I don't like the way that he laid it out, to be honest. I would like to sort of like see that, this is one project, two projects, and I can select which one I want to get into without just, driving into just scrolling down. So project, role, date, website description. Again, I'm not so big about descriptions. I think they're cool, but I want to know what the problem is. What are the goals? Very quick and easy to use, designed for travelers, no walkthroughs. I like to know how they got to those goals. That's another thing about the process. How do you get to those goals? How do you, define what your vision is, where you are going, when you're designing projects, the final designing on doing one job well. I like that. I like products that do one job very well. And then here's a little bit of sketches. I like the amount of detail that he has on each part of the thing. So here's a thing, but again, I don't see what problem are they solving here. I see what their goals are, but business goals are just business goals, and sometimes they're not necessarily useful to some people. I mean, if I can use any other converter like a Google converter, whatever it is, what will it tell me to actually use this? What is the problem? What is the pain that I'm having? What is the thing that I'm facing that will force me to do this? He put in some lines of code in there. To me, that develop for iOS. So for me, that doesn't speak to any problem solving. This doesn't speak to the process that he went through. It speaks about challenges and stuff. So actually, I'm not a big fan of this specific portfolio. I think he's had great opportunities of working at some really cool places. But yeah, it's just my own opinion. I'm allowed to have my own opinions. And I don't think I would take this approach. First of all, the layout and the design, I would like to be able to, switch through the different projects easily and see what I'm looking at quite simply, and see what the problems are, see what were the problem that you're faced with, what was your hypothesis, and how did you get to it, who were the people that you had involved in your project, and how did you solve it. After you solved it, what did you learn, what were the outcomes, and what did you learn out of it. I think that is almost like a better framework to work on if you're designing UX design portfolio, or you are looking at vamping up your UX design portfolio. So yeah, thank you so much for chilling with me today on today's design streaming session, and I hope that you can chill and geek out with me again tomorrow. I need to go sort out my daily duties and deal with my 1-year-old daughter that is heading off of my live stream right now. So until the next time, peace.